Welcome to SVG-TV News for Wednesday, February 28, 2018. I am Yvette Bowens with the details. Over 50 construction workers on the Grenadine island of Canouan protested at the entrance of the Pink Sands Resort today in an effort to receive outstanding salary payments which they say are long overdue. According to the protesters, they are owed 3 months' salary by the resort's management with no indication when they will get these payments. In an act of defiance, some of the workers blocked the entrance to the resort today with branches, stones, derelict vehicles, appliances and other materials. The irate workers told SVG-TV News via a telephone interview that they are frustrated that they cannot meet the needs of their families, especially those on the mainland St. Vincent who are depending on them.
Situation in pretty. This ain't poverty no more. This is my past poverty. Because we work 3 months now and we can't get paid. You know how it feels to have family, home in St. Vincent and you're working in the Grenadine. You know to yourself that you're working. And you can't supply them with their necessary needs, and you know you're working to help them out. That's way past poverty.
We're processing over better because working 3 months and you have a dollar, you have child to go to school, you have a rent, and everything you make outstanding bill that you need to pay. No money. It's real hectic in Canouan here right now. So that we will try to get better. And we need money by the fortnight and in the money thing.
We work from the 24th of November to the 10th of December. And then they close that timesheet and tell us now, finish the rest of the work. And when the rest of the work finish, we'll get all the money along with a bonus. It's until now we still ain't get a pay, we still ain't get a bonus, we still have January payout, we still have February payout, and landlord needing their money. The grocery shop hold up on us, and then Pigmataro said positively he ain't gonna pay nothing more than 50%, so we had to do what we're doing today because nothing to eat, no good place to sleep, and now every little thing we have in the bank is out.
Meanwhile, community activist Terry Bino says it is important that workers stand up for their rights. Bino, who joined the workers on the protest line today, told SVG-TV News that persons must receive what they have worked for. He also said he hopes those who took part in the protest action today would not be victimized for their activism.
We've been talking about for many years, you know. You can't continue to treat the local people in this kind of manner. And, these people have family back home that they need to maintain and children to feed as well as anybody else, even the rich person who have their family, you know, and they need to be paid on time. You know, so they're demanding now that they put their payments from fortnight to monthly, and then they start to talk about 3 months pay to subcontractors, and the workers are saying no, they want to get it back to the fortnight where they could really look after their family and pay their bills at courts and everywhere else and so on. They need to meet with management and probably the government as well, because what they're saying, they don't want any victimization, even if they pay the money. They don't want to be victimized and they phase them out of a job, because they say if they do that, they will go at the gate and sit down all day and join hands in protest. So they need to sit down in management and make sure no victimization going to take place and resolve the matter.
SVG-TV News made several calls to the Pink Sands Resort to get a response from management, but up to news time we were told that they will get back to us. The government of SVG has been encouraged to improve the manner in which it treats and interacts with trade unions in the country. That's the plea coming from President of the Public Service Union, Elroy Boucher, at a media conference today highlighting various issues of concern to the union. Boucher said much can be achieved through negotiations with trade unions, noting that the government seems to be unwilling to enter into negotiations with the local unions to have various matters settled, such as wages and pension reform.
You sit down and you said, no, we have to negotiate. There's not even a negotiating team set up to negotiate with the unions. And we asked the Prime Minister this about 2 years ago. We are tired of this meeting with one person. Put the negotiating team in place, let them negotiate with the trade unions, which is how it ought to be. That has never happened for the past 10 years because there have been no negotiations. In 2015, that is memorable. We started out meeting with the Prime Minister. And when talks broke down, that became a big bacchanal. These are problems that we have as trade unions. And I'm making the point that if this is truly a Labour government, they have to demonstrate that in the way they behave towards trade unions.
Speaking on the issue of pension reform, Boucher said the PSU is in agreement with the government that the current pension provisions are untenable, adding that the union has written to the Minister of Finance seeking what he calls an expansion of the provisions presented in the 2018 budget. He said the union has also been seeking legal advice on the constitutional provisions relating to pensions.
And so the protection of pension rights. We want to know, how is that going to impact pension reform? Because from our layman's reading of it, the Constitution say any changes that you make to pensions paid from the consolidated fund must be better.
And your fund must be set up too.
Must be better than the one that we have. And any new fund, you have to actually set up a new fund to pay such pensions. So we want the legal opinion on that matter. Because I've not heard the government speak to that particular issue, but it's important to us. Because if the Constitution says it is protected, to what extent is it protected? If it said that you cannot make it worse, then it guides the process going forward. Because we have to ensure that our constitutional rights are not violated.
The PSU president took the opportunity to renew calls for the public pension age to be in line with that of the National Insurance Services, adding that the current provisions for those persons who are 60 wishing to take their pensions before 65 are cruel.
So in effect, to save yourself and to live comfortably, well, you can't live comfortably on a 60% salary pension on your salary. But to live, to manage to survive, if you decide to take it to manage to survive, you don't have that family support, and you decide to take it, you'll only be getting 30% of your salary for your pensions. So that arrangement was cruel, but it was put in place by this government. There was no consultation with the unions. It was put in place by this government, who gave no thought whatsoever about all of those workers, not just in the public service, all the workers who are paying NIS within the statutory corporations, give no thought to what they will do when they get to 60.
Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves is of the view that the lecturer who led a protest against him while he was delivering a lecture at the UWI Cave Hill campus in Barbados recently was misinformed. Speaking on radio on Tuesday via the telephone, PM Gonsalves said that he was amazed by the lecturer's conduct, noting that she used the wrong forum to express herself.
A lady who protested, she was wrong on the facts, and the forum where she sought to protest was the wrong forum. To begin with, we are a civilized and liberal society. I was amazed that a lecturer will mimic what she sees in the United States and what she sees in Europe. Lectures and so on being disrupted. It is a fascistic mindset. You shout down people whom you don't agree with. But you don't do that generally. You allow people to speak and you respond to them. That's why we do it in Parliament. That's why we have universities. That's why we have seminars. That's why you have freedom of the press.
Exactly, civilized discourse.
civilized discourse.
The Prime Minister further claims that the political science lecturer Karen Hines was disrespectful to students in the lecture theatre who wanted to learn how SVG has implemented recovery finance for climate change, among other things.
And you know that I was very calm about it, and I invited her at an appropriate time to talk about the matter. But this was great disrespect to the students who wanted a Prime Minister, the longest service one continuously, to bring to bear his knowledge and experience and judgment as to how do you deal with natural disasters and how do you finance recovery for sustainable development, which is what we have been doing in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. That's the subject. And interestingly, not one of those students moved. And I understand that she's getting a lot of, the lady is getting a lot of criticisms from her staff, her colleagues, and from the students.
Yes.
Interestingly, you had over 150 students there, and not one of them moved.
The ruling handed down on Tuesday by Justice Esco Henry in the election petitions case not to allow inspection of the ballot boxes used in the Central Leeward constituency in the December 2015 general elections is not a real victory for the respondents. That's according to leader of the opposition New Democratic Party, Dr. Godwin Friday, as he spoke on Nice Radio moments after the ruling was handed down in the High Court. Dr. Friday said while his party respects the decision by Justice Henry, it is a hurdle they will overcome.
It's a victory if you feel that you have something to hide. Because what it says is that we still don't know what went on in the election. You know, we are being prevented now by the ruling of the court, and we respect that decision of the court, from viewing the ballot boxes. You know, they had the power to basically resolve the matter since back in 2015, early 2016. But they have fought tooth and nail to prevent the people from seeing if what we have said happened in the election really did happen. And we are confident about that it did, because we have evidence that was presented by the petitioners and even in the affidavits of the respondents.
Justice Henry ruled against the inspection of the ballot boxes, deeming it as an abuse of the court's process after Justice Brian Cussell had already ruled on the matter in 2016. Police here are investigating the circumstances surrounding a fire that took place in Calder in the wee hours of Tuesday morning. According to the police, a 70 by 92 bedroom timber concrete and galvanized house owned by Lawrence Burke, a 54-year-old farmer or mechanic located in the vicinity of the Calder Primary School, caught fire around 1:18 a.m. on Tuesday. The police say Burke was alerted by his neighbor, Janelle Bailey, who saw fire coming from a bedroom of the house. The said bedroom, the roof, and all its contents were completely burnt. The fire was subsequently extinguished by the fire department with the aid of neighbors. Loss and cause of fire, according to the police, are not yet known. Minister of Finance, Minister Camila Gonzalez, says there are exciting times ahead for SVG's tourism product. Minister Gonzalez was speaking at an event held earlier this week to announce direct flights between the Argyle International Airport and JFK in New York using the service of Caribbean Airlines. The Finance and Economic Planning Minister told the gathering that the government has been working with various stakeholders in the hotel industry, including potential new operators of the Bocaement Bay Resort, as well as those looking to expand both in the Grenadines and on the mainland.
Exciting developments and conversations with the potential new managers and operators for the Bocaement Bay Resort. So I can report that that is proceeding apace and should open this year definitely. We're having on March 6th very exciting conversations with a major hotel brand out of the United States that's coming to explore some possibilities with us. And we hope to get them as part of our hotel expansion. Hotel ground is being broken on the leeward side. Hotels are being expanded and improved in the Grenadines. Hotels are being expanded and improved right here on mainland St. Vincent. And all of that is a bet on the future, a bet on increased traffic into the Argyle International Airport, a bet on Caribbean Airlines doing magnificent work here for us in St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Minister Gonzalez added that stakeholders are excited about the possibilities the tourism industry holds, given the positive numbers which were observed last year, adding that these numbers have had a positive effect on the private sector.
Telecom operators tell me that when people get off the cruise ship and they make that one call to tell their friends back in Germany or England that they're in St. Vincent and tweet that one photograph, they tell me that their roaming charges and their income is up exponentially because of the increased tourism. And in the Grenadines, yachting tourism is up close to double digits. And we know we have the best sailing waters in the Caribbean here. And the businesses that spin off of that yachting tourism and marinas and taking care of yachts, it has exponential spin-offs and is an important engine for growth and development in the country. All of these exciting tourism possibilities rely on direct flights.
The finance minister also took the opportunity to highlight opportunities which he said will open up in the yachting and cruise industry thanks to direct flights coming into SVG from New York and Canada.
The family or the man or the woman that wants to take a yacht down to the Tobago Keys isn't going to get off of his boat in St. Lucia or Grenada and take a yacht to the Keys. He'll fly into Argyle directly from New York, directly from Toronto, directly from some of the other destinations that I know we'll announce soon, and get on his yacht here in St. Vincent and sail down to the Grenadines. And the cruise ship passenger who doesn't want to do a 2-week cruise will fly to St. Vincent and the Grenadines directly on his Caribbean Airlines flight and catch the cruise in the middle instead of coming all the way from Europe, and do a 1-week cruise. And that will be made possible by the airport and by Caribbean Airlines.
Locals and visitors alike can expect 4 days of activities filled with fun and culture in this year's Bequia Easter Regatta. The assurance comes at a joint media conference to launch this year's Bequia Easter Regatta, hosted on Tuesday between the Ministry of Tourism, the Bequia Sailing Club, and other stakeholders. Minister of Tourism, Sports and Culture Cecil Mackey said the government has been working with the relevant stakeholders to ensure the success of this year's regatta. Mackey added that given the very positive numbers in both the cruise and yachting arrivals for the last 2 months of 2017, he is hopeful for another successful regatta in Bequia this year.
And also visitors would have been up 11% in 2017. So those were also very encouraging, and we all know that the Argyle International Airport would have played an important role. But our yachting sector, we all know that this is a very sensitive aspect of our tourism product, and as such we have to ensure that we protect it and we grow it at the same time. Easter is an excellent opportunity for us to both protect and grow. When we look at the numbers, the day before Easter 2017, 50 yachts arrived on Bequia. Some of them would have come to sail, some of them would have come to enjoy. I expect that the numbers would be even greater this year. And from all indications, the yachts in the harbour are still pretty good. But I expect that those numbers would grow for Easter this year.
Highlighting what persons can expect in relation to the onshore activities was representative of the onshore committee, Carlos Williams, who said this year will feature a gospel concert which includes performances from a wide cross-section of religious denominations as well as other cultural activities.
everybody on one stage Thursday the 29th. An attitude of gratitude. Last year was very successful. The year before was very successful. This year is going to be even bigger and better. Good Friday. We know Good Friday. Traditionally, not much happened. We say to people, hey, spend some time with Christ. You know, your fellowship with Him. But at the same time, on Beckway, you want to come, let's do some swimming. So we'll have swimming on Good Friday outside the plantation. This event will be hosted by the Beckway Swimming Club. And everything is in place for that event, and you can expect a great event, which is the 30th. The 31st is Saturday. All right, this is going to be big. We're bringing together Minister Pan Group from St. Vincent with our kids on Pan from Beckway. We call it Pan on the Isles of Clouds on Saturday.
Also speaking at the media launch, chairperson of the Beckway Sailing Club, Chris Kay, highlighted some of the sailing activities which persons can look forward to.
What we have planned on the regatta side is that the Thursday will be a briefing for skippers of both the fishing boats and the yachts. For the first time ever, we are integrating both the heritage side and the yacht side into the organisation and the entertainment events for the regatta weekend. The evening of the skipper's briefing will also, in fact, indeed every evening, there will be some entertainment laid on by the sailing club. So in the evening we've got a banjo band from Beckway who will be serenading us after the skipper's briefing. Friday is the start of the races, and because of the different nature of the heritage boats, the fishing boats from the yachts, we'll be running two parallel sets of races in Beckway. So there'll be two sets of races running over the Friday, racing on the Saturday, there's racing on the Sunday, and there's racing on the Monday for both the yachts and the fishing boat side.
Vincentians, particularly students, will be able to learn more about the jazz art form as members of the Hunter Tones American Jazz Ensemble are here in SVG for a 4-country tour. The group is being hosted by the U.S. Embassy to Barbados and the OECS. The country tour is being used to sensitize the public on American music as well as to promote cultural exchange. Answering questions from students who attended the concert today at the Peace Memorial Hall, members of the Hunter Tones Ensemble gave advice to the students on how they can follow their dreams.
I think a big part of it is just, you know, the more comfortable you, and this isn't just with music, this is, you know, I played basketball and that was a huge part of my life, and when I was, you don't have to clap for that, but when I was younger and would go out for games, I would get super nervous, be like, oh man, am I gonna make these foul shots, blah, 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 blah. But the more experience I had, the older I got, the more I did, the more comfortable I was, to where like when I was in high school playing basketball, I would just get super excited and, you know, be excited to go out there with my teammates. And so experience will help with that. The longer you guys are doing music or anything, the more comfortable you're gonna get, kind of what Josh was saying, with those nerves.
How important time is, your time, and what you prioritize your time with, and who you prioritize it with. It's completely possible to have a life doing what you're passionate about, even if it's not, you know, investment banking and things that are all, you know, monetary kind of goals, seeking things. But, you know, it's a challenge to be a performing and traveling musician. But I think trying to prioritize your time becomes basically the biggest challenge. But I think it's totally possible. You just have to care.
The performance by the group was well received by the audience. Here's a sample of the group's musical talent.